Mr. Speaker, I think last week I was overly rude, and I apologise.
Let's break it down, not with spin, but with reality. Keir Starmer isn't fiery, passionate, or even confrontational. No, his worst trait is colder than that. He ignores, he dismisses, and worst of all, he acts like the public doesn't matter. Ask him a question that matters to real people. No answer. Raise your voice for working families. He stares through you. Challenge his broken promises. He smiles like you're beneath him. That's not calm. That's not composure. That's elite arrogance dressed as professionalism. In a time when the country is burning under the weight of rising bills, collapsing services, and leadership voids, Starmer's attitude isn't just disappointing, it's dangerous, because when a leader loses the will to listen, he stops being a leader. He becomes a manager of decline, too insulated to feel, too scripted to act. And here's the twist, the disrespect he shows. It always comes back. Stick around till the end, because when the ignored rise, the echo is louder than any speech. And if you're tired of being treated like you don't exist, subscribe now. You deserve better.
Visibly Roberts.
This Prime Minister once spoke of compassion and dignity for migrants and for defending free movement. Now he talks of islands of strangers and taking back control. Somebody here has to call this out, Mr. Speaker. It seems the only principle he consistently defends is whichever he last heard in a focus group. So I ask him, is there any belief he holds which survives a week in Downing Street?
Yes, the belief that she talks rubbish. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I want to lead a country where we pull together and walk into the future as neighbours and as communities, not as strangers. And the loss of control of migration by the last government put all of that at risk. And that's why we're fixing the system based on principles of control, selection, and...
This moment wasn't just weak, it was disgraceful. Faced with a real, direct challenge to his political soul, Keir Starmer didn't defend with facts, clarity, or even basic honesty. No, he threw out a cheap, smug insult kind of line. You spit out when you've been exposed and all. You've got left his arrogance. He wasn't leading, he was flailing. And what followed? The usual unity, community, walking forward together. Lovely words, but meaningless when they come from a man who abandons his own values the second they become inconvenient. This is the same Starmer who once praised openness, now warning against outsiders, who once stood for dignity, now painting migrants as threats. That's not growth, it's betrayal. Betrayal for convenience, betrayal for applause. And when someone dares to question that, he doesn't respond, he belittles, because in Starmer's world, unscripted truth is not worth answering. But here's what he doesn't see, that kind of arrogance. It's not strength, it's decay. It reveals a man so lost in spin and optics, he can't see people anymore, just numbers, headlines, and talking points. This wasn't a debate, it was an unmasking. A weak man caught out lashing, spiraling, and reaching for empty lines. But the public, they saw it, they felt it. Every time he mocks, dodges, or dismisses, he proves exactly what people are starting to say out loud. He doesn't care, he doesn't listen, and he's not fit to lead. And the worst part, this isn't the first time. Take a look.
Over the weekend, I suggested to the Prime Minister that he cut the aid budget, and I'm pleased that he accepted my advice.
I'm going to have to let the Leader of the Opposition down gently. She didn't feature in my thinking at all. I was so busy over the weekend I didn't even see her proposal. I think she's appointed herself, saviour of the Western civilization. It's a desperate search for relevance.
By admitting she wasn't even on his radar, Keir Starmer didn't just dodge a question, he revealed everything about how he sees the people around him. This wasn't just political detachment, it was raw arrogance. A legitimate concern was, raise it, and instead of answering it with leadership, he brushed it aside like background noise, not because he had a stronger point, but because, in his eyes, she wasn't worth responding to. That's not strategy. That's contempt. The now infamous line, "I didn't think about it," wasn't a slip-up. It was a glimpse into a mindset that ranks optics above integrity, that dismisses challenges instead of engaging them. True leaders don't flinch from scrutiny. They face it head-on, respectfully and decisively. Starmer, he sidestepped it, and when he can't find a pre-approved comeback, he shuts down, ignores the question, moves on like none of it matters. But it does matter to the people, to the party, and to the credibility of any claim to moral authority. We're not just seeing evasion, we're seeing a pattern, a politician too insulated, too scripted, too aloof to lead with conviction. Before we continue, we want to hear from you. Are you seeing what we're seeing? If this video hits the mark, like, share and subscribe to stay ahead of the breaking shifts in British politics, because the story is far from over. Let's keep going.
Given the Prime Minister's desire to strengthen strategic alignment with our European neighbours, will he, in the interests of public safety, follow the lead of France, Denmark, Belgium and others and ban the burqa?
Prime Minister.
Can I welcome her to her place? But I'm not going to follow her down that line. But now she is here and safely in her place, perhaps she could tell her new party leader that his latest plan to bet £80 billion of unfunded tax cuts, he's no idea how he's going to pay for it, is Liz Truss all over again. Although, considering I think she was a Conservative member when Liz Truss was leader, she probably won't.
From Keir Starmer didn't really cut the mustard. I'm not going to follow her down that line. Other MPs, senior MPs, don't think that's the right answer. James Cleverly, the man who would be Prime Minister, would be a Tory leader, I should say, but for the behaviour of some MPs during the leadership election last summer, he said in terms that refusing to answer MPs' questions isn't an option as a government minister. Not saying he supports the ban, but have the debate, and that's what Sarah Perkins started.
And this right here is the breaking point. When a leader treats Parliament like a stage, not a place of accountability, and treats questions like noise, not the voices of the people, he doesn't just lose the argument, he loses the room. What we're seeing isn't composure, it's cowardice dressed as calm. And when Starmer dodges serious questions about public trust, about policy failures, about real suffering, he's not rising above the fray, he's shrinking from responsibility. He doesn't silence critics with answers, he silences them with indifference, and the message is loud and clear. If you don't fit into my narrative, you don't matter. But guess what? The people are watching. They see the sidees, they hear the clipped tone, they feel the distance, and the more he brushes them off, the louder they push back in Parliament, at the ballot box, online, in the streets, because when you stop answering, you stop representing. And when you stop representing, you stop leading. So go ahead, Sir Keir, keep dodging, keep pretending hard questions don't exist. But remember, disrespect is a boomerang, and the louder the silence gets, the harder it hits when it comes back, by round. Because this isn't just about one MP, one question, one moment. This is about a leader who's forgotten what leadership looks like, and the country, they haven't forgotten. They're wide awake.
True democracy is citizen-led. Politics needs an update. We demand a people's house. We demand a people's house. We are in crisis. We are in crisis. Our whole future is in jeopardy. No. I came here to speak to this man, not your security. You have failed me.
Thank you.
I've been a Labour voter my entire life. You have failed to be the opposition. You have failed to ask whether lockdown was functioning.
Just behind. Can we just
Do you understand?
Shall we go in?
Thousands of people have died because you have failed to do your job and ask the real questions. Well, I am telling you now, and I hope this goes out, you have failed this country. You have.
They've been on the front line keeping people alive. So I really don't need lectures from you about this pandemic.
You've got one. Why? Can we come in? Okay.
What are you doing?
He's the landlord. That man is not allowed in my pub. He's the landlord. I'm not going to physically hurt him. That man. That's assault. I am not bothering you. I am not bothering him. That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on. Calm yourself down. Get out of my pub. Calm down. Sorry, can you keep out of the way? Thank you.
That moment when a protester stood behind Keir Starmer and shouted what millions feel wasn't just disruption, it was accountability, forced into the frame. A man hijacked Starmer's stage because Starmer had long abandoned listening to the people who built it. This wasn't about rudeness, this was a reckoning. When you silence union voices, mock climate activists, dodge your own MPs, and talk down to voters like they're background noise, eventually someone turns up the volume. For you. And he froze, not because he was shocked, but because he had nothing to say. The truth echoed louder than the speech, and for a man who's spent years managing decline with polished indifference, This was the moment the public said, "We see you," and we're done waiting. Respect is earned, and when you lose it, even power can't protect you from the room turning cold. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned, because this isn't just politics anymore. It's a leadership crisis unfolding live.